Hi there, it's Lukasz for the Tech Travel Geeks, and we have another smartphone for review from the Mi Community UK, the Mi 11 Lite 5G. Unfortunately, we don't have the original packaging, charger or other accessories, so we can't do our usual full unboxing. Instead, we'll go through the setup experience and the software features of this device, with some mention of what to expect from it, and in a few days, we'll share our first impressions video with my thoughts and some photo samples as well. To not miss that video and other content from us, make sure to subscribe to our channel and click that notification bell. Before we start, let me share a few key features of this device. The first thing you'll notice is that it's really thin and light, as the name suggests. It weighs only 159 grams and it's less than 7 mm thick. It has a plastic frame but a glass back with matte finish. The camera bump is also quite tiny, but we still get 3 cameras. Main 64 megapixel one, 8 megapixel ultrawide and a 5 megapixel telemacro. We'll be checking the camera performance soon. Speaking of the performance, the phone uses the brand new Qualcomm Snapdragon 780G, which can be described as a premium mid-range processor. It's built using the latest 5nm manufacturing process, so it will be very energy efficient. And it's a follow-up to the Snapdragon 765G, which we saw on the Google Pixel 5 and 4a 5G, as well as the OnePlus Nord last year. I'm therefore expecting some great performance. My model comes with 8GB of memory and 128GB of expandable storage, but there's also a 6GB of memory version and one with double the storage. The screen is full HD AMOLED one with 90Hz refresh rate, supporting the HDR+ and up to 1 billion colors. I'll leave other features for the first impressions video, so let's get started with the setup. I'll be using my main SIM card from 3 to test 5G connectivity and will expand the memory with a 64GB SanDisk card. I'll use a SIM ejector tool from a different device. And I also have my Wi-Fi password handy as well, as I'll need it soon. The SIM slot is at the bottom of the device. This is actually a hybrid SIM slot, so you can put your main SIM card into slot 1 and either a second SIM card or a microSD card in the other. Let's insert my 3 SIM card into slot 1 with the pins facing upwards. It fits in snugly, so we can flip it and insert the microSD card again with the pins upwards. Perfect. Finally, let's put the tray back in with SIM 1 card at the top facing the screen. We can now switch the device on and begin the setup. We're greeted by the Xiaomi logo and powered by Android statement, the 5G symbol and the MIUI logo, which is Xiaomi's firmware. We begin by choosing the language and region. In my case it's English and the UK. The device comes with Google's Gboard pre-installed, together with a Braille TalkBack keyboard, which is always good to see. Next, we get the usual user agreements and privacy policies. Pages and pages of it. Make sure to read all of it before you click accept. Next, you can log into the Wi-Fi and connect to the internet. We then have a choice of either copying apps and data from another device or your account, or getting a fresh installation. I always like to do a fresh one, so let's not copy anything. We can then log into the Google account, as Android relies heavily on Google services. Once you enter your password, assuming you have two-factor authentication enabled, you'll have to confirm it's you. I'll do that using the Poco F3, which I'm also reviewing at this point. Once we're logged in, there's a bunch of Google services which you can enable or disable, like backup to Drive, use of your location, Wi-Fi scanning, data sharing, and app updates. I just went with all the options. Next, here in Europe, we can pick one of the search providers, selecting between Bing, Google, Privacy Wall, and info.com. As always, I just went with Google. At this point, you can either pause the setup if you're very impatient and continue it later, or just finish it in one go, and that's what we'll do. Next is the Voice Assistant app, and if you've not done this before, you'll be asked to provide a sample of your voice. I likely didn't have to. The following screen lets you select further actions like adding another email address, changing the font size, the wallpaper, or reviewing additional apps. Let's check the wallpapers. At this stage you can't select the live wallpapers, we'll do that later, so let's go with some lovely Croatian cliffs to start with. Reviewing additional apps just shows Google Pay, and you can't even disable it, so I'm never sure what this is for. You can then log into the Mi account for some extra backup to the Mi Cloud. There are quite a few permissions to be granted here, but it's entirely up to you which ones you give. There are also different services which you can sync with the Xiaomi Cloud, and again it's up to you to decide what will be synced. Since I have in the past synced with the cloud, the phone will do it straight away after this screen. Next up is the security. We'll go with the fingerprints, but before that we'll need to set a pattern or a password. I'm really happy that, similarly to most other Xiaomi devices I've used recently, the Mi 11 Lite 5G sports a side-mounted fingerprint scanner. I found them to work just great and be really super fast. The scanning process took just 17 seconds, which is really fast compared to other non-Xiaomi devices I tried. There's one more permission screen, this time for the Xiaomi side rather than Google or Android, and it includes a mention of personalized ads as well, which we'll discuss a bit later. The final decision is whether we want a classic Xiaomi launcher or one with the app drawer. I'm definitely a fan of the latter, so I'll pick it up, but it's good that the users have a choice here. And that's it, we're done with the setup. We just need to wait for the operating system to load all the apps. In this case it took just 30 seconds, which is not bad. And straight away we get a new software update. As we'll see in a moment, the device will get updated from version 12.0.2 and February software update all the way to 12.0.8 and the April software update, which is the latest at the time of recording. Xiaomi have been doing great when it comes to software updates on the phones I'm currently reviewing, and it's great to see. When it comes to the storage just after the setup, the phone has just under 19 out of 128GB of storage occupied. As in the case of many Xiaomi devices, this one also comes with a lot of pre-installed applications outside of Google and Xiaomi tools. We again get social apps from Facebook, LinkedIn and TikTok, e-commerce apps like Amazon, eBay and Agoda, as well as Netflix. There's also a bonus for PUBG fans, a gift coupon with some extra items etc. Unfortunately it was only valid until 20th of March, so no luck for me this time. However, as is always the case, you can uninstall any of the apps if you don't need them. I actually didn't mind those apps being installed, since I use most of those apps anyway, and at least we don't get random casual games with nobody ever plays anyway, so that's some progress for sure. Conversely, one thing you'll notice when installing new apps is that the phone runs the security app, which is currently the only place where I've seen any ads. Again, not a big problem for me. Other than that, it's the usual rich software experience of MIUI, with a lot of customizations. For example, the aforementioned app drawer has lots of categories when you swipe left, so you get your apps grouped into categories automatically to start with, and you can also add any apps to those categories yourself. What's even better is that you can change their order and even add or remove categories, so if you'd like a gaming category with all of your games to be the first one, you can add that. And if you play a lot of games, you can even have different gaming categories. It's all up to you and it's highly configurable. Another thing you can control after the setup is how the notifications are displayed, which is worth changing as soon as you finish the installation. Just go to the settings and search for notifications and click the notifications and control center option and then the control center style. There, you can change the way the notification shade behaves, either the old style, when both notifications and quick settings are all in one place, or the new style, which shows the notifications only when you swipe the top left part of the screen, and all the settings and toggles if you swipe from the top right. I personally prefer this option, so if you're up to test it out, make sure to change it in the settings. You can also change the notification shade display between the traditional and MIUI style. The MIUI one has some extra padding on the left, so the text is a bit more squished, and I'll just stay with the default Android one. As with other MIUI devices, you can also use one of the aforementioned super wallpapers. You get 4 to choose from: Geometry, Saturn, Earth and Mars. I ended up going with the Mars one, I quite like it myself. There are even more controls when it comes to the display. As mentioned earlier, the screen is also an AMOLED one, and it does look great. Because it uses that technology, it has very deep blacks and it actually saves battery when in the night mode, so I'll switch to that mode straight away. As is usual with MIUI, you can further configure the display by switching between different color saturations, temperatures, and even adjust the color gamut and choose between sRGB, P3 and other ones. Great stuff. You can also change the refresh rate, which by default is set to 60 Hz, but can be increased to 90 for some smoother experience. Just remember that the battery consumption will increase because of that. My overall impressions with the software and performance are really good then. At the time of writing this, however, I've only been using the device for about 2 days, so I'll have to spend much more time with it to provide you with some more thoughts about the performance, battery life and cameras. What I can do, however, if you manage to get this far in this video, is tease a couple of photos from my road trip to Ely Harbour and the Ladies Tower here in Scotland. And I think the phone did a fantastic job here. More in my upcoming videos. That's it for this video. Let me know if you have any questions about the device. And if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe to the Tech Travel Geeks to see more videos from us. But for now, thanks for watching.